And we are live. It's 8:02. Okay, I had a big day, but I'm here for another episode of the Puppet Podcast. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you again and to be in touch with the world of puppetry. So, everyone, I hope you're enjoying the new development that we have online, that we cherish all together. So feel free to write to us from where you are watching, or if you have any questions during this podcast, feel free to check this out. And I just want, as I always said, we try really to build this international community and to be all together in this. So I want to inform you, and I'm trying to find all of that on the website right now. It's our Patreon. We have built this Patreon to offer some workshop to people, and I want to make sure I have the opportunity to show it to you, because it will be amazing. It will be the next one about streaming. We all talk about this online streaming stuff and how to stream for clients and get money for the job as puppeteers or as artists. And we have this workshop who's coming on November 7th. It's with Tom Knight. And this guy is amazing, a lot of talent, singing, he do puppetry. He's really talented, and he will explain, because he has his own studio home and he do this streaming amazing job. And as I said, I really want everyone to be able to share more online experience, because it's part of the reinvention that artists have to get through in this weird time. So, yeah, the Puppet Podcast is here. And tonight, I get the chance to meet someone of Montreal community who built puppet. And as I said, I just arrived, so we just met quickly on the air, online in the virtual studio. So let me present it to you. It's Jan.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. Hi. Thank you for having me.
I'm happy to have you on the show and meet more people from Montreal.
Yeah. So you're in Montreal right now too?
Yes. So
Mascot neighborhood, how close?
I'm on Plateau.
I'm in the Marlens. We're both on the Plateau.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's amazing. Yeah, and as we cannot visit each other, we are plenty of online is the way to do it.
Perfect.
Yay! So I'm really happy to have you, and I'm full of questions, but I really appreciate when the puppeteer, the builder, present himself through the world of puppetry, through the community. So could you maybe introduce yourself, as maybe people don't know you, want to discover and know how you present yourself?
Yeah, so I was always interested in sculpture. So I went to sculpture school to OCAD, an art school in Toronto. And I was always into art in high school, and I got really into just carving and a bit of metal work. You know, we had the facilities and stuff. And afterwards, I got a job in the Mascot industry. So it's really big in Toronto. There's like 5 really big companies. And so it's essentially like a big puppet. Like when you're wearing a mascot, you yourself are the puppet, and a lot of sculptors end up there. And then I had moved to Montreal in 2009, and I just started doing it on my own and finding kind of a community here and working. And slowly over the last 11 years, I've just been getting into more television and music videos and doing a bit of teaching. And I would say puppets themselves, like more traditional puppets, is more of a newer thing for me. I've been doing it slowly over the years, but more recently, I've been trying to challenge myself and learn more about it.
Yeah, and that's what we enjoy in the show. We have so much people from other art form who come into puppetry and learn, and we learn all together in this.
Yes.
Yay! So I'm so glad to have you and to ask you my first deep question.
Sure, go.
Ready? Yes.
I'm ready.
The first one is the why. Like, what make the puppetry art an art that you cherish?
I think I came about it through character design. I think I love just character design, and I came at it from just growing up watching, any kind of sci-fi horror film. I probably watched horror films a bit too young. My parents were really into them, and and just being fascinated by different creatures, and mostly the kind of the scary type. And I think it's just always been in my mind, and I've always been drawing them. And then when I learned about carving, I'm like, oh, okay, I could carve them. And then when I learned about puppetry, I'm like, oh, I could bring them to life even more. You could have all sorts of movement, and it's just one step closer to becoming, the kind of creator of these creatures.
Yeah, that's so true, and it's so connected with like special effect in movie, and
Exactly, yeah.
and it's scary. It's Halloween time, so let me
Yes.
ask you about the scary part of puppetry. Have you this in your childhood? Like I met some children who have this phobia about puppet, but
Yeah, I think like dolls and puppets when I was very young. Certain films, like there's the Puppet Master series. I watched that when I was probably too young, and they're scary puppets, and they try to attack and kill people. So it intrigued me, but also scared me.
yeah, it's kind of like love and hate phenomena.
Yeah.
Like "Oh, I want to see, but oh yeah, yeah. And I want also to know your crush. Do you have like a specific moment you feel like when you have saw a puppet or something, and you say, okay, this art form is something for me. Like this is the crush.
Right. I mean, I stereotypically, growing up with the Muppets and Jim Henson and films like Labyrinth and all that, I think it's all accumulative from that. I don't remember if there was one specific moment, but I would say probably Henson and Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Tim Burton as well, watching Nightmare Before Christmas as a kid and seeing those kind of, again, knowing that it was sculptural, that it was 3D puppets.
Yeah.
Those.
That's true. That's really cool. And I just want to let you know, Jan, that we have people from Australia watching right now.
Oh, okay,
So
great. Cool.
This is international.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I want to know also, like in your opinion, because it's so interesting to have someone from sculpture, like what would be the best field of study for someone to fall into puppetry?
I'd imagine you could come at it from all sorts of fields, but what I really appreciated in school was taking mechanics classes, and we were encouraged to kind of take machines apart. I remember that time I had an old CD player that I tested, and I think that's a really interesting way to just see how simple mechanisms work, gears and levers, and and it's a good opportunity if you're throwing out something to kind of just look at the insides first. And you could relate it to puppetry and seeing how other things move, or how you could make things move.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's true. It's kind of engineer and to look and find the character.
Yeah.
I want to know, because also you were talking about Mascot, like your own definition of a puppet, like how you separate maybe the mascot and the puppet, or how you combine it in your own definition.
Good question. I think I apply the same techniques from mascot building to puppetry in terms of the carving and the hand sewing. But I guess I keep them kind of separate, other than, you're, instead of the mascot wearing on your head and your body, you're kind of wearing the puppet on your arm. So I find them, different,
I heard,
but similar.
Yeah, some people they find also the fact that the puppet have a mouth, like and maybe like when you have a mascot and the mascot have a mouth and talk is more puppetry.
Yes, right. That's a good point. And I haven't explored that in my own mascot making, but I would hope to.
So it's the next challenge. Put a mouth and make it a puppet, a giant
eyes and
one.
mouth. Yes.
So cool. Yeah, and I want to know more about your career. Like, do you have a goal for your career? Something you want to bring in, an achievement for you as puppeteer?
My own personal goals is just to always challenge myself with the next project. I like creating different mechanisms or making things, bigger, smaller, learn new techniques. There's so much involved in making these things, like airbrushing. You can get into programming, Arduino, woodworking in terms of the mechanisms. I'm always learning how to sew better. I'm still, after 10 years, it's not an easy thing. So trying to incorporate a sewing machine more, and it's just for me, just keep building the skills and trying new things.
That's so cool because that's true. We learn all the way in this world.
Yeah.
And do you have like, I'm always, when I met builders, I'm always like questioning about like the perfectionist, because I know builders could be really perfectionist to make it really a professional puppet. So do you have your specific like thing? You said I'm picky about the eyes, like I'm picky about the mouth or the mechanism of, like, do you have your zone?
That's a good question. I would say my zone is the foam carving. Maybe
Oh yeah.
I'm very picky of that. Maybe because that's what I find is my specialty.
Uh-huh.
Whereas I'm learning a lot about other things. But in terms of like the actual features, yeah, I love making eyes very detailed, hand painting them. Yeah, I don't know. There's not a yeah.
Yeah. It's a question because about building. It's so
Yes.
like, do you have like a big inspiration, like someone you say his work in sculpture or in building is really part of my inspiring process?
Right. I don't. I would say, like, with the community on Instagram, it's really hard to pick just one. I follow so many puppeteers, and I would hate to just focus on a couple. But big companies like Swazzle out of LA, just seeing how much they could pump out when they're a huge company. But then you also have like individual puppeteers too, who are just working slowly on their one. So I don't have one specific person that I really try to draw from. But yeah.
But that's good. You drop Swazzle, and
Swazzle,
Swazzle are our friend, and we love
good. Yeah.
those
And I'm really
guys.
glad they're sharing their, lately they've been sharing a lot of how-tos and stuff too. So yeah.
Yeah, their knowledge, and that's really appreciated by all the community. We really admire that. And I want to know your opinion about the future of puppetry also. What do you see for the future?
That's I'm new to it, so it's hard for me to say, but I don't see it going away. I see that, especially in the climate we're in right now, I think it's going to be a lot of videos. There'll be a lot of kind of, what you're doing, online classes. There'll be more online shows, since it's going to be harder to get together and see live shows. But yeah, I see it expanding. I guess this relates to another question too, like
I ask about the ascension.
Yeah.
You feel we are in an ascension right now?
I get that sense from being online. Yeah, I just feel like more and more people want it, and for my own kind of work opportunities, it seems like more music videos, products, and companies want a character, and they want it to come alive through a puppet or a mascot, and it could be applied to anything, no matter how what the company is.
Yeah, totally. It's so cool. I want to see maybe some of your work. Maybe I love your background. You seem to have a lot of stuff all around.
Yeah, that's my whole well, I mean, I could kind of tilt it up here. I build high because I have a small studio, so you can see
wow. This is a big burger and a poutine.
Yeah, those are costumes. So I bring them to events sometimes, and people could wear them, like children's events and music festivals. I built them maybe 2 years ago, but yeah, I haven't shown those specific ones. But behind me here, that's some of the work I've done in kind of college, and I have one here. Just is kind of how I got interested in
it's inverted, so I can give you a bigger shot like
there
this.
we go. Yeah. So this is just a little example.
This is the mechanism.
Yeah, and so I would learn how to make these little things back in. This is from like 2007. So it kind of got, I got an interest from there, and after that I started making sort of these mascot heads. So this one's kind of related to puppets, so it looks like a little puppet itself, but it's actually kind of a mask you could put on.
Oh my god, that's so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah,
a lot of details, and you have a kind of a puppet in it. That's true. Like the bird is
So I sort of started out like that, making the mascots, and then I got more into puppetry, and I can show you one that that you have in the feature kind of
oh yeah.
shot. This is a mantis shrimp. It's kind crevettes, yeah.
In
How do you say that in
crevette.
French?
I'm a
Yeah.
shrimp, you know. I'm from Matane in
You're from
Gaspésie.
Oh.
I'm a shrimp.
You're
But this is a more colorful shrimp.
Yeah, I really wanted it when I saw like photos of it. I'm like, oh, that would
Oh
be
my
so cool to bring to life because get it airbrush everything, different colors,
Wow.
the pattern, and there's lots of movement in it. I got, four kind of fingers, moving the eyes
Yeah.
and that, and then plus you have the rods. Uh,
Mm,
so
is it
yeah,
part of a show or it was more
no,
for
it just I don't know about doing shows in the future. I'd be interested, but I just kind of make them for myself when I don't have contracts, and I
yeah,
just keep myself relevant. So maybe one day it'll be part
good.
of a show. I would love to present it. Like I think it'd be kind of educational to have a real life
Yeah,
animal blown up, and yeah.
totally. And we have comment right there. Here, look this. So
So
impressive.
well, thank you.
So cool. And here we are, the
Shrimp,
best. Shrimptacular.
amazing. I'm
Thank
glad
you,
you can pull them.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah. And it's really key, as you said. Maybe you have some advice for people who wants to just be at sculpting character. And this was one, like to create, and you have no contract, you still building.
Yeah, I have to. Like, I have to keep myself busy, and I kind of have this balance always where if I'm having too much contract work, I'm like, I really miss my own practice, and if I'm doing too much of my own practice, I'm like, when's the next check coming in? And yeah,
Yeah,
so
this is a
yeah,
good question also. How you could balance? Do you have like a specific cycle? Like you do like a lot of promotion, and after you get a lot of job, or do you have your own
it's
cycle as a builder?
it's so unpredictable, but I've built up quite a base here, and like I said, I'm in the Mile End in these industrial buildings, and I end up working with people just across the street. There's so many different studios on Casgrain and Gaspé. You're probably familiar.
Yeah, yeah,
So there's so many directors there, photographers. There's a company that puts on video game events, and I made a lot of stuff for them last year. They put on stuff at Place des Arts and the SATs and stuff, and
yeah.
I built big props for them. And so there's a lot of repeat customers, and I'm getting into television a bit. I'm doing a big contract. I can't quite show you, but online, but it's right behind me, and I've been up for 5 days because it's a rush contract. But yeah,
Yeah,
television's always kind of a good opportunity, and
that's cool.
yeah, and
Yeah, and that's the way to have your like power base, I would say, client, like the people who believe in your work, and you
yeah,
call them back, and you get more word of mouth going around, and you get more
exactly.
job.
Yeah. It's a thing. It's kind of like free advertising because they want to show what they just bought off, and then other people see it and they contact me. So it's grown exponentially through that, and
That's
Instagram, like online, of course, too. Yeah.
yeah. You use Instagram a lot to promote your work.
Yeah, and I'd say it's a main source of people getting attention or getting updates from me and and
Yes,
interest. Yeah,
that's so cool you dropped this, because that's what we do also with the podcast. We want to have puppeteers like putting their work out there so people could see it and actually order more puppet or
exactly.
think
Yeah,
in terms of puppetry more.
yeah.
That's so cool. Yay! Thank you so much, Jan. So if
Well,
people want to see more of your work, like they want to reach you, where? How they
uh,
find you?
well, I go under Hand Sewn Heads on Instagram and Facebook, and you could always find my email, I think, through one of those. But I would receive the messages, so I definitely concentrate more on my Instagram. So if you, Hand Sewn Heads. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe you can spell it, and I
Oh
can
yeah,
maybe write it in
yeah.
the comment.
So it's like
Yeah.
hand HAND
And yeah.
dot sewn SEWN
EWN,
dot heads pluralized. Yeah.
like a head with the
Yeah.
S.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so I put it right in the chat. I hope it will. Yeah. So it will be there.
Good, cool.
That's so cool. Yeah, and Rebecca said it's a great name. Yeah.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Yay. Thank you so much, Jan, for your time. And it's a kind of great discovery. I can't wait to maybe at some point come into the Milan and see your studio and maybe do a tour, like, because we love in the
when we're
podcast
allowed to.
when we will be able to visit each other and see more of your work, how you install your building, and maybe you will have a lot of contract and a lot of puppet all around.
Exactly, around. Yeah, likewise, I maybe will see you doing circus one day.
Yeah.
Or right before the pandemic, I have a 5-year-old, and he was in the circus school in on 2nd Avenue, Deuxième Avenue there. Yeah. We were loving it, but then pandemic hit, so we cut it short. But yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, all this world is small, and we are all connected at some point. So thank you so much, Jan. So stay in the virtual studio. We could chat after this interview. I will just do the conclusion.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So I push you like this. I work on my puppetry numeric thing. Boom! This is my new thing to push the screen. It's kind of a castelet, like a frame for a puppet show. So everyone, thank you for watching. Feel free to write to us, to write to the guests we have. We really want to put more communication between every one of this community. And as I said, have a look to the Patreon. It's right below. Like, look at this. We have this beautiful banner. So it's right. Oh, yeah. It's Patreon podcast. So those are amazing workshops that we put together. And the next one is with Tom Knight about streaming, like to learn a simple way to do live stream for your client. So let's just talk about that, like how it's an opportunity or a learning process. So yeah, just learning, as we said, learning is always good and fun. So everyone, I wish you to stay safe. All the best, and we will have this wonderful podcast coming about Halloween. So it will be on Friday at 6. So stay tuned for another episode of the Puppet Podcast. Okay, see you. Bye-bye. Oh, the jingle. I forget my jingle. Look at this. Yeah, bye.